down on cloggers, looking up at the sky. This will come in about 10 seconds here. I'll be sure to point it out to you guys. What we're doing right now, Brewer Rosie, she did have a home here in Sedona. It's coming into view right about now to the VOC, the Village of Oak Creek, where we departed from today, that is known as West Sedona. And we also have our downtown area, which we call Uptown Sedona. Here in this tour today, we're going to get to splash into all three separate sections of Sedona. And I would like to remind you guys, most of these homes, if we pass a building that is older than my car, so older than the year 1999, I'm more like 100,000 miles. And then it broke down. I didn't know Toyotas did that. Should be fixed. Years and years searching the world, looking for the perfect place to build her chapel. When one day she finally decided, Budapest, Hungary, that is the perfect spot for my chapel. Unfortunately, by the time she had made up her mind on this, World War II had broken out. And so, Budapest, Hungary, no longer an option. Once again, Marguerite, she would search in the world. She was looking for the perfect place to build her chapel when she came across Sedona, Arizona. She decided Sedona. Now that's the perfect spot for my chapel. Now the only issue is, where Marguerite came across an RX symbol that was carved into the red rock back here. Like an RX symbol you would see on prescription drug labels. Marguerite knew right then and there this was the perfect spot for her chapel. She had taken that RX symbol as a sign. It has always meant a lot to Marguerite. Her family made most of their money through drug dealing. Through pharmaceuticals. And it just so happened the RX symbol was carved out here into the red rock because there used to be some ranchers out here. They would brand their cattle with the RX symbol, and they'd mark their property with that same RX symbol. And so once again, Marguerite, she saw that, and she knew this was the perfect spot for her chapel. So here it is coming up on our left, the Chapel of the Holy Cross. I'm going to drive by, allowed to stop in the middle of the road. I got a ticket for that 2 years ago, and I'm not getting another one. Chapel. When this chapel is completed, Marguerite said, even though Catholic in nature, this chapel is meant to be enjoyed by everyone around the world of all religions. And so we're going to go up there and check it out. Now also, these 4 red rocks directly in front of us here, they do have names. They're called Lady Madonna, her child, and the 2 nuns. The 2 nuns are those big ones on the right. Now there's a 5th rock up there. That rock has been given a name throughout the years of me doing this. Now, I'm not trying to make any political statements when I say this. All I'm saying is, if you guys look at these 2 big rocks on the right, no Trump talk around the red rocks. That is my philosophy. We're going to focus on what unites us today. Now, this chapel, once again, it was built and completed in 1956, and so was the parking lot. Come back here during the spring and the fall, there's usually a line of cars all the way to the top of the chapel, all the way back to the roundabout that we turned off of on the main road. And then in case you guys didn't get a good picture of the chapel before, you're going to have one last opportunity here in just a second. Is quite the home. Now, I do get asked about this house fairly often, and the answer to your question is yes. This is my Terminator living there, possibly both. We don't know. Alright, you guys, now, at this point in our tour, I do like to talk about our town's history. Woohoo! So our town here was founded in 160 acres of land out here through the Homestead Act. To sum up the Homestead Act briefly, just an effort nationwide to establish new territories and new towns, but especially here in the West. And so what they did is they gifted mostly old veterans land to go do that. Now this 160 acres out here, it was originally intended for Carl Schnibley's older brother, who was indeed a veteran. Unfortunately, he had cancer and he was not able to make the trip out west. So he gifted his land to his little brother Carl, who was able to come out here and start a town. Now, when Carl and his wife Sedona, when they first got here, they were kind of like the original Airbnbers. What they did is they built log cabins and they charged people just 25 cents a night to stay in those cabins. And that was just to spread awareness about this area. Finally, once enough people became aware about the area, enough people moved here, and 24 years later in Sedona, Arizona. So for the final time, welcome into town, everyone. Now, driving around Sedona, you guys are going to notice we have an awful lot of crystal shops here in Sedona. We have even more psychics here in Sedona. However, the number one thing we have here in Sedona, even more than crystal shops and even more than psychics, is art galleries. We have more art galleries here than anything else. Art is actually our number one export, and Sedona is considered to be one of the art meccas of the world. So we do have a lot of world-renowned artists live here in Sedona who do create their masterpieces right here in Sedona. Arguably one of the most famous art galleries we have around town, it is known as the Bear Cloud Art Fencing. That's been up since the late 1800s. And then the grandchildren of Carl and Sedona Schnibley, they still live there today. So there are still Schnibley. Now we're going to go up here to the top of Schnibley Hill Road to turn around. Up here at the top of Schnibley Hill Road, there's a trailhead that leads off to some pretty good hikes. And then this road itself turned into an off-roading trail. Now we do have quite a bit of off-roading trail here in Sedona. In fact, in the 1940s, Sedona, it was known as the Jeep capital. He's about 13 years older than I am, and he went to medical school just so he could buy Jeeps. At least that's my theory. My brother, he owns 4 Jeeps. The only reason he doesn't have any more is because he has no more space in his garage or his driveway. Anyways, he's taking me off-roading all over the west coast of the country. I've hit a lot of trails in California. Broken Arrow has a lot of beautiful scenic views you won't get anywhere close to on any other off-roading trail. It also has a lot of very, very fun, yet very, very tough terrain to tackle. It is not for the inexperienced off-roader or for the faint of heart. It is rated very highly on the difficulty scale. That being said, though, if you guys want to have a thrill while you're here in Sedona, rent a Jeep or take a tour. Go out there on the Broken Arrow. It is a ton of fun. And once again, off to our left, to our downtown area. This is what we call Uptown Sedona. This is where I'm going to drop you guys off for lunch later. Lunch is going to be our 3rd stop. We have to drive through Uptown to get to our 2nd stop. Now, when I drop you off here later, I'm going to give you recommendations on where to eat. I want you to keep in mind, when I give you recommendations, right now you're on tour with a man who, when I first moved back from Hawaii, I did not have much money. I still do not have much money. I converted it to a camper van and went around the whole west coast of the country taking odd jobs. And when I say it's going to be about 7 miles down the 89A towards Flagstaff, it is a trail known as West Fork Trail. West Fork Trail is a beautiful hike. It runs along Oak Creek, and that runs along this huge Red Rock Canyon. So everywhere you go on that hike, it is just beautiful and wonderful. It makes for some amazing photos, and it fits my hiking style perfectly. It is nice and flat. A vortex point is a point on the Earth's plane in which energy is being emitted, and it affects the living things around it, whether it's people, plants, or animals. Now, I've done a lot of research into this vortex energy, and there are many theories behind it. The best theory that I found is here in Sedona, we're along a fault line, we're along a ley line. So all this red rock you guys see here today, it's all the result of 2 tectonic plates that collided together. They smashed into one another. One of them went up, one of them went down. The plate that went up pushed everything you're looking at here today out from underneath the Earth's surface and out into the Earth's plane. And through millions of years of wind, rain, and erosion, we have all the shapes you see here today. Now, normally when this happens, it happens pretty dramatically. The two tectonic plates collide. The one that goes up, it goes up pretty well. The one that goes down, it goes down pretty well. Here in Sedona, it did not happen like that. The two tectonic plates collided. The one that went up like it was supposed to. The one that was supposed to go down didn't really go down at all. Just kind of went into the other place. So the Earth's crust. Are the points of the Earth's plane in which that pressurized quartz beneath us is releasing its energy out onto the Earth's field. At certain points, which we call vortex points, or vortices for plural. Now, as far as this vortex energy could make you feel all sorts of different ways. The most common thing that I hear is, I do not feel anything at all. Besides that, though, I have a lot of people telling me they have a tingling sensation in their fingertips and in their toes. Others will tell me they feel more calm and at peace here in Sedona. Others tell me they feel more energized. It's not always positive. Some people associate headaches and anxiety with that vortex energy. And a lot of people tell me they have trouble sleeping and that they have nightmares while they're staying here in Sedona. So if any of that applies to you, it could be that vortex energy. And there it is, everyone. This is the brief definition of a vortex point for you guys. We've already gone to one today, the Chapel of the Holy Cross. Our next two stops, they're both vortex points as well. If you guys feel a little bit weird, that could be why. Going up to right now, it is primarily used for helicopter tour companies to operate out of. Although, because they have such a short runway, and because they have upwinds from all four directions, Navy pilots occasionally practice touching down here to practice landing on aircraft carriers. It is pretty much the closest thing you can get to the real thing. I'll see you guys right about now. If you do have a fear of heights, I would just like you to concentrate on that guardrail right there to your right. Really notice how rusty it is. We certainly did not paint it that color, and it will not hold this big heavy bus. Hope that is reassuring, everyone. Hey guys, there's no need to worry. There is no need to worry. As of January 1st, the state of Arizona, they gave me my driver's license back. Yeah. That's a joke, you guys. That is a joke. I don't get my license back until June. Right about now, there's some smaller planes over there to your right, much larger than that. Some of the larger jets that come in and land here, I'll see them take sometimes 2, one time even 3 attempts to land. Also here at the airport, we have the Mesa Grill. The Mesa Grill is they can be booked up for months in advance. They are very good. They used to be owned by Bobby Flay. We also have 2 helicopter tour companies that operate out of this airport here. We have 4 total that operate out of the Sedona area. And the reason we have some here in Sedona, they can fly you down into the canes that we have here. Llama. So when I say the word llama, I'm not talking about the animal, pretty much the highest rank you can reach in the Buddhist church. So, with all that being said, let me begin my story. There's this woman, her name is Jetsuma. Jetsuma, she is a Buddhist monk who lives out in Maryland. One day, Jetsuma decided she needed to spend some time in isolation, so she went to the Himalayan mountains, where she spent 12 years in isolation. After 12 years out there all by herself, Jetsuma claimed to have reached enlightenment. Enlightenment is like the highest form of consciousness you can reach, according to the Buddhist. She also made the claim that she had come to the realization that she is the reincarnation of a llama that had passed before her birth. Once again, not the animal, pretty much the highest rank you can reach in the Buddhist church. So after 12 years out there, all by herself in the Himalayan mountains, Jetsuma, she returned to Maryland. She went back to the Buddhist church. She told them about her enlightenment in our community. I'll be sure to point that out for you guys. Also coming up here on our right, There goes Curaleaf. The dispensary right next to him is Tortas de Fuego. Tortas de Fuego. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. they have $1 tacos that are very, very good. So if you guys want to get a snack after the tour, our office is right there. You can just walk over to Tortas de Fuego and get $1 tacos. They are amazing. It's on Thursdays only. Anyways, getting back to Elvis. Elvis, he moved out here in the early mid-60s. He moved out here for some peace and quiet. What he really wanted was a place to party where he wouldn't disturb anyone. And back in the 60s, Sedona, a perfect spot for just that. And Elvis left a lasting impact in our community. Coming up on the right after this light, there's going to be a restaurant called the Coffee Pot Restaurant. Now, the Coffee Pot Restaurant, they've been around since the 1960s, and they have over 100 different kinds of omelets, including an omelet designed by the king of rock and roll himself. Now, if any of you would like a peanut butter, banana, that doesn't sound good though, they have 100 others to choose from right there on your right at the Coffee Pot Restaurant. Now, coming up on our right after this next light is going to be our local McDonald's. Now, the only reason I mentioned the local McDonald's is because we have turquoise arches instead of golden arches. There they go right there on your right. Now, the reason for it was actually an effort to keep McDonald's out of town. Sedona, being a small, health-conscious community, they did not want McDonald's coming into town. So, they actually banned any bright color schemes, particularly gold and red. Looks like I will not be coming this way on our way back. Now we get back into this park. There's only one rule back here at this park. This park is a place of peace, quiet, and meditation. Now, quiet, that is the key word. There will be people back here praying. Alright, you guys, so it's going to work. I'm going to park here. We're all going to walk up there together. And then my favorite is Rhapsody Road. So this is the music section we're driving through right now. Behind us is the coffee section, and we're about to drive through the cowboy section. So all the residential street signs here in Sedona, they're all themed. Now these homes are passing right now. These homes have foundations. Any house with a foundation here in Sedona is selling anywhere from $2 to $3 million and upwards. We have Bronco Drive right there, or Bronco Circle right there. We have Appaloosa Way, that's another type of horse. Pretty much most of these are going to be named after horses. We have my personal favorite in the cowboy section, which is Gunsmoke Road. The Zani Drive, that's another type of horse. out to your right now, there's a mountain over there. It looks like a volcano. That right there, that's a volcano. It is no longer active. It last went off around 11,000 years ago. But because of that, we have basalt, once again lava rock scattered throughout the entire area. What we're going to do now is a really cool scenic drive. It's called Red Rock Loop. We're going to pass some cool stuff here on Red Rock Loop. We'll tell you guys about it as we pass it. Here in the desert, we get on anywhere, on average, from 14 to 18 inches of rainfall per year. So everything you see here is a dwarfed version of what it should be. I'd like to start off this tree coming up here on our left with the tiny little bright green leaves. That's a mesquite tree right there to your left, that tree close to the road. There's also some there on the right. That's that tree right there close to the road. Both mesquite trees. Mesquite, it is a great wood for smoking meats and other things. I'm sure you guys will have mesquite smoked something or other in your lifetime. If you haven't, you definitely got to try it. Mesquite is wonderful out here in the Sedona Desert. I'd also like to point out that these darker green rounder trees you're seeing literally everywhere. All these darker green rounder trees, they are all known as shaggy bark junipers. The shaggy bark juniper is the longest living tree we have here in the desert. They can live for over 1,000 years, in some cases over 2,000 years. And they're able to live for so long because they have the ability to convert any water or any nutrition that they get to single separate branches. At some point in the future, the juniper tree is going to be dead. It's going to have maybe like 3 or 4 branches that are green and alive. As long as those branches are green and alive, we classify that entire tree as alive. Big cats right behind tigers and lions. However, jaguars are much deadlier. Jaguars can run at speeds exceeding 50 miles an hour. They can swim at speeds exceeding 20 miles an hour. And they have an 80% success rate when hunting compared to the lion or the tigers, 40%. And then jaguars are known to eat crocodile and caimans that are 4 to 5 times their size. Thank goodness we only have 5 of them here. And right now the loop's really going to start to open up. We have Cathedral Rock directly in front of us. I'm going to pull over later so you guys can get a good picture of it. The formation off to the right of Cathedral Rock looks like a bunch of mountain view up there. Coming up here on our right, there's a gentleman. He's building a glass fence using old wine ball. Right. He also has other wine ball art in his yard. Now let me tell you something. Definitely worse ways to let your neighbors know you have been drinking. I'd also like to point out directly in front of us is Red Rock State Park. There's a lot of good hiking trail there at Red Rock State Park. Also a lot of good picnic area. And if you guys look down into your right, there's a bunch of trees down there with white bark. All those trees off to your right with the white bark, they're all known as sycamore trees. Those sycamore trees are only capable of growing along the creek side here in Sedona. So off to our right is Oak Creek. Oak Creek is a creek that flows year-round here in Sedona. The source of Oak Creek is an underground aquifer. So all that creek water is just a little bit colder than you expect it to be. We do have quite a few underground aquifers here in Arizona. This will get a small percentage of our state's water. And then once again, there is an aquifer directly beneath Sedona itself. They do bottle and sell that out and about. If you see a nice red rock you want to take home, feel free and take it. This is one of the few places on Earth you're allowed to bring home the rocks with you. Now coming up here on our left is going to be, in my opinion, the most useful plant that we have here in the desert. It's going to be this stringy looking cactus right here to the left of the juniper tree. There's 3 of them. They're really tough. They're like 20-pound fishing line. So you can make all sorts of stuff to the top of the yucca there. Make yourself a hat, a pair of flip-flops, whatever you may need. Also with the root of the yucca, it is just like a potato. So you can boil it, you can fry it. They make these called yucca fries. Those are awfully good. If you guys go to the Cowboy Club, one of my favorite restaurants here in Sedona, you can get yucca fries with prickly pear dipping sauce. There goes both the cactus. I'm going to recommend you try in one go. You can get 2 birds stoned at once. Or whatever the saying is. Coming up here on our left, we have some more Texas prickly pear. If you guys look very carefully at these Texas prickly pear off to your left, you can see some of them have bite marks taken out of them. And those bite marks are from those javelina I was telling you about. Off to the right, you can see where the creek runs. Now I would like to point out this large bush directly in front of us. That is what happens when an oak tree falls far enough south. The once mighty oak tree, it does not have enough water or nutrition to grow itself into a tree anymore here in the desert. So it's adapted for life here in the desert. It is now a bush. It still makes little acorns and everything. It is just now known as a scrub oak. And that's a very common theme here in the desert. We have a lot of bushes that are trees in other parts of the country. Now coming into view right now, there is quite the house up there on that cliff. It's going to be out to everybody's left right now. Now that a very wealthy man. In order to build that house, they had to fly every bit of material up there using a helicopter. The only way up and down from that house is a gondola. And let's say the gentleman who lives there, let's say he wants a new washer or a new dresser or anything that does not fit inside that gondola or exceeds its weight limit, well, he's going to have another helicopter flying on up there for him. So I'm going to drive by this house nice and slow. Give you guys a good opportunity to take a look at it. Also show you where that gondola goes up and down at. Up and to the left, that's the house I've been talking about. If you guys look to the right of the house, you can see there's a chrome archway up there. That's where the gondola goes up and down at. I don't mind it just because I can't see it from where I live, so it doesn't bother me all that much. Of it. Most of the famous photos of Cathedral Rock, they are taken from this vantage point we're going to right now, or somewhere very close to it. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to back up into a good photo spot. But it is all four of those rocks off to your right that make up a Cathedral Rock. If you guys want to use this opportunity to get a good picture of it, a little palm tree cactus next to this fence here. These are known as soap tree yucca. Those are related to the banana yucca. Those actually have a natural cleaning agent in them. The indigenous people, they would use those to make soaps. Also coming up here on our right, there's going to be a big turquoise cactus in the center of this person's garden. That one right there in the middle, that is a mescal plant. That's the medium-sized agave that grows here in the desert. That's where you get a mescal from. Mescal is like a smoky tequila. Then we also have the blue agaves. The blue agaves, those can reach heights over 6 feet tall. And the blue agave, that's where we get our tequila from. Fun fact about tequila. Tequila and absinthe are the only two alcohols that are actually classified as stimulants rather than depressants. So, if you like on the planet is fastest animal on the planet. Any guesses there? Alright, I'm just going to tell you then. So the fastest animal on the planet is the peregrine falcon. The peregrine falcon, they can dive bomb at speeds exceeding 240 miles an hour. Because of that, they are very successful hunters, and they can be found worldwide. Now, if you guys want to get your cameras ready, in about 10 seconds, we're going to have my personal favorite view in Sedona off to our right. I cannot guarantee you guys are going to have a super long time to get a photo. As soon as another car comes up behind me, I'm going to have to keep driving. But I will stop for just a minute so you guys can get some good pictures. We're going to have a beautiful valley off to our right in about 3 seconds here. And there we go. We got that beautiful valley off to your right. Please use this opportunity to get a good picture of it if you would like one. Picture. Oh, he's going around me. Normally they honk at me. All right. Looks like you guys got a few more seconds to get the green, the red, and the blue sky. And did we all get a good picture? Perfect. apparently there's a ghost that likes to hang out in that hotel, and he tickles people's feet when they sleep. But if you guys want to check out Jerome, it's very cool. It has amazing views, and they also have the world's largest kaleidoscope store in Jerome. They have 12 o'clock, it's Teapot Rock, behind Teapot is Tea Kettle, behind Tea Kettle is Teapot. It's a great idea to know where it is. It's right down there nearby. I think this is a lot of fun. Right there at Layla's. Yes, I did just make that claim. Go in there and try them out if you do not believe me. They are fantastic.